Hey everyone, welcome to Encouragement Thursday. It's great to be with you today. Abraham Lincoln asked a crowd of people one time, if you count the tail, how many legs does a dog have? And of course, many of them answered five. He said, no, not true. The fact is that just because you call a tail a leg doesn't mean that it's a leg. Interesting. We're in a time of crisis. We're in a time of interesting, something that none of us have ever gone through. And we can label it, we can call it many things, but it doesn't make it so. I want to just talk today for a couple minutes about kind of how you go through change. What is the process of changing on something? I know for a fact that I was having a conversation recently with somebody, and I know for a fact that people say, well, crisis develops character. And I often argue that actually crisis doesn't develop character. It actually reveals where your character's at so you know what to work on or where to work on yourself. And I believe that this is a perfect opportunity for many of us to reset our lives, to look at what our priorities are and to bring change in our lives. And just because there is a struggle going on, because everybody's telling us the economy is crashing and all those things, does not mean that we have to submit to it. It doesn't mean that we have to go along with the crowd. I really believe it's a time that you can rise up, that you can take advantage of these moments, and you can actually be encouraged by these moments because you can be an effective for change. You can be an encourager. You can help other people through this time, and you can be one that rises up rather than going with the flow. So I want to just share the process that a little thing that I came across, the process of change, or the process of challenging yourself and where you are. I often say that perception's reality, but it's not always actuality. And it's kind of the same idea as that story about the dog. It's, perception can be very real to us, but it may not be actuality. It may not be actual truth. And so what you want to do is you want to bring about change. You need to understand the process of change in your life. And a lot of times we want things instantly, but it takes time. So number one is information. You get a new piece of information. You receive something of information from someone, or even from an encouragement video on Thursdays from me. You could hear something you've never heard before, and so you get new information. That might bring some inspiration. That's the next stage of change. You're inspired. It makes sense to you. It like resonates with your heart. And then there's an impartation. There's that inspiration turns into an impartation where you actually onboard it and take it into your heart, take it into your mind, and you start to meditate on it. You start to pray about it. You start to really look into it. And then I believe through that prayer, then there's a revelation. You get an epiphany. There's a revelation saying, wow, I can do this. I can actually make this change. And then I believe transformation comes, so that you start to change the way you think. Your mind is renewed. You start to change the way you think about that information that you received, and it actually starts to become part of your life. And the last stage of change is the manifestation of that change. You see, the old adage is that it takes 21 days to change, to make a habit. I would suggest that it takes much longer than that because you have to go through this process. If you skip some of these steps, it's going to be just information. It kind of defaults back to the first thing. You can know about something, you can know a lot about something, but it doesn't mean that you've had a revelation. It doesn't mean that you've imparted it. It doesn't mean that you've brought it into yourself and you've actually start to let it transform you to the point that it actually changes your life. I hope this helped. I really want to encourage you that this is a perfect opportunity, because we've been forced to slow down, to take the time to challenge some of your core thoughts, your core beliefs. It's a great time to actually seek and find out your purpose in life, and where do you want to go moving forward coming out of this. Those are the kind of thoughts I'm having. What do I want to do? I believe it's as important how we behave and how we act within this crisis is even more important is how we come out of it. Are we going to go back to status quo, whatever that is, or are we going to move forward and actually reinvent? Well, I hope that helped. I hope you have a great day. Remember, it's Encouragement Thursday. Reach out to somebody and encourage them. Talk to you later.